Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this beast of a revolver right here. It is the Colt King Cobra. Now this one's chambered in .357 Magnum. I believe all of them were. And this one here is a friend of mine's gun, a colleague I should say of mine. And we were actually sitting around at work talking last week and about Colt revolvers and how expensive they are. And he just dropped the bomb that he had a Colt King Cobra. And I was like, are you kidding me? Bring that thing into me so I can take it out and do a video on it. So that's what we're doing here today. So I've only had this one in for about 3 days now and put about 100 rounds of ammo through it and have had zero issues, as you would expect with a gun like this. But this gun here is obviously one of the Colt Snake series and is no longer produced, so that's not good. I believe they stopped making them in 1998. And one thing about this one is that when it was originally sold, compared to the Python anyway, it was very sort of cheap and designed as sort of a functional work gun. I believe these were somewhere in the $300 to $500 range. Nowadays, good luck, these things have gone up tremendously. They're generally $1,500 to $3,000 depending on the condition, and they're hard to find for sure. So one thing I always say is if I could go back to like 1989, 1991, that time frame, what I would buy is Apple stock if it was around then, and then some Colt wheel guns and Chinese AKs, because they have gone up a ton. This one here is no exception. So we're going to get into the details real quick, and then at the end just come back and let you know what we think about the gun overall. Let's get a closer look here at this beauty. The one that we have here has these rubber combat style grips, if you will, and I can tell you shooting them, it's definitely very comfortable in the hand. And one thing I like is this nice sort of padded rubber piece back here, so that way when you're high up on the revolver shooting it, it definitely pads the recoil of the .357 mag for sure. I should also note though that .357 mag in this particular revolver is not too bad. This thing's all stainless steel construction, and a lightweight it is not. It comes in just under 2.5 pounds on my scale, so it is a heavy, beastly revolver. No doubt in my mind that you could feed this thing a steady load of .357 mag for a very, very long time, and it would hold up just fine. It just feels extremely well made when you shoot it, and certainly can't fault Colt for that. Moving up from the grips to the hammer, you can see it does have a spur style hammer. I've seen some of these that were, I think, aftermarket modified to have a bobbed hammer, but it does come with the spur from the factory. And when I pull it back there, you can see that it does have a transfer bar safety. So some of the older Colt revolvers out there that are real collectible don't have that transfer bar safety. Of course, this one does, because it's, you know, originally released in the 80s. So it's got all the modern safety features that you would come to expect. So the trigger pull on it is good. It's very different though. If you guys have fired a Python, it's like a totally different trigger pull. So this one here, it's got a little bit of play right there and double action, and it's like real stout in the beginning and a much shorter pull. It's got some over travel in there. So where you're pulling is kind of from here to probably here in the trigger pull. There, you have that over travel after that. You can see where it re-engages right there. So it's a real short, quick pull, but it's smooth. Certainly I was able to hit, you know, double action. I was shooting steel out to 40 yards, which isn't all that impressive, but no problem at all. So you can definitely get hits with double action, and single action is awesome, like you'd expect. So if you cock that hammer, we have almost no play at all in the trigger. It's an immediate break and almost no over travel. So single action, if you really want to bear down on it, and I'm sure Hickok 45 could ring the gong all day long with that single action. So it's very, very nice. You can't complain about that at all. But compared to like the Python that has a real smooth, sort of longer double action pull, which is really nice, this is short and stout, and it's not as shootable, if you will. Moving on to the sights, they're both pinned, the front and rear, so I'm sure there's plenty of aftermarket out there for them. I haven't looked, but I would imagine there are. The rear here is fully adjustable, and it has that sort of Glock-like U-shaped white outline. Now, the owner of this gun hasn't been the best about cleaning it, as I'm sure some of you guys can see, because it is sort of a work gun for him, but it's definitely still there. And if you want to adjust it, if your windage was off, you can. I haven't adjusted it at all. It seems spot on. And the front sight here has that little orange insert that a lot of the revolvers back in the 80s and 90s came with. It definitely helps. It's much easier to pick up than, say, a plain black front sight, and of course that's pinned in there as well. Again, there's probably some aftermarket options for you if you wanted to add like a fiber optic or something like that. There you see a pretty good look at this heavy barrel that comes on this revolver, and that came like that on all the different barrel lengths. So it was offered between 2 to 8 inch. So I believe there's 2, 2.5 inch, 4, 6, and 8 inch variants of this model. And this is a 2.5 inch there. Like you said, you can see it does have the fully shrouded ejector rod there. So just adding a little bit more weight underneath and strength to it. You guys can see the serial number there. I'm sure some of you Colt junkies out there are looking the serial number up to see when it was made. If you guys find that, please go ahead and post below. I didn't look it up, but I'm sure folks will be interested in that. You can also see the cylinder spins. Very nice, very free, no issues at all. And of course, we have 6 shots of 357 Magnum. You can also fire a 38 special in there, as you would imagine. I haven't fired any 38 in there, just feeding it the 357. I believe almost everything I put through it was 158 grain XTP bullets loaded from Freedom Munitions, and it just shot awesome. Very, very nice. Very smooth, just feels like a quality gun when you're shooting it for sure. Those of you interested in picking up a King Cobra probably are only going to find one on Gunbroker or something like that, obviously, because they're not made anymore. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of the size of it, just versus some of the other revolvers we have in my collection. So down here we have, of course, the 638 J-frame. You can see it's much larger in every way. Just longer in the grip, and this is an aftermarket grip, of course, from Hogue, and longer in the barrel, and just so much beefier all the way around. Of course, 6 shots versus 5, and then we have the big vent rib here on top of the King Cobra that you're just not going to see on a lot of these sort of lightweight carry type guns like this. Now, moving that one out of the way, we have the 640, which is again a 357 Magnum gun, so comparable. It's also all steel here from Smith & Wesson, but 5-shot cylinder as well. One difference, when I carry this, I tend to feel the weight in my pocket compared to, say, the J-frame, the aluminum J-frames. But this thing here, all stainless 640, is nothing in compared to weight here to the King Cobra. King Cobra just is a hefty, hefty beast for sure with that medium-sized B-frame that we have on here. So again, you can kind of get a size comparison there of those guns. And of course, this one here is the 686 Plus here from Smith & Wesson. This has a 5-inch barrel. It's one of my favorite revolvers to shoot. It's just super awesome. It's got a great action. I love 686s. One of the best, if not the best, revolvers out there made. There you go, I said it. I'm sure all the Colt guys are going to freak out, but I really like 686s. But you can kind of see there, again, just the way the frame is on that Colt, it's just beefier all the way around. Very, very beefy type of gun. That pretty much covers the details. Now, I'm sure some of you guys watching this video have noticed that the gun isn't in the greatest of shape. This gun is used by the owner as a hunting gun, so it's his backup gun, so that way if he needs to put an animal down or anything like that, this is the gun he uses it for. So he's out there in the woods all year round hunting with this, out in this holster. So it's definitely seen some use for sure, but it's a very well built gun, and it can hold up to it, and I'm sure it could be out there in the field for a lot longer, many more years to come. It's very solid overall, but it's really heavy. Like, I would never want to conceal carry this gun. I mean, it's 2.5 pounds, just under that anyway, unloaded, and only has a 2.5-inch barrel. Me personally, I would love a gun like this with a 4-inch barrel or a 6-inch barrel that can really take advantage of the 357 Magnum's velocities. But as it is, it's a really cool gun. It's fun to shoot. The recoil is not bad at all. And I bet with some 38, it'd actually be a decent gun to teach somebody how to shoot with, because I bet the recoil would be almost nothing. But all in all, really cool gun. I'm glad we got to take a look at it here. And if you guys are looking for one, check Gunbroker. They're out there. They're for sale. They're just going for a premium penny for sure. So that's about it, guys. If you have any questions about the Revolver, I'll try to answer them down below. I'm sure there's some experts out there on these guns that know a lot more than me about them that could help you guys out in the comments section. But as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we hope to see you in the next video.